Welcome to the Arsenal show. We are live and we've got plenty to discuss tonight. I'd say 6 things especially to discuss. An emphatic win against West Ham. Liverpool fans and the rest of the rival fans were waiting for Arsenal to slip up. Funnily enough, weirdly enough, beating or demolishing Liverpool wasn't enough. Apparently, people were waiting for West Ham to come along and undo all our hard work. Well, it didn't. It didn't happen. It did not happen. And not only did it not happen, Arsenal were absolutely fire on the weekend. I'm joined by Steve K. How you doing, Steve?
Yeah, how you doing, mate? Yeah, very, very well. Very well. I mean, it's good to be an Arsenal fan at the moment, isn't it, eh? Yeah, I mean, look, fantastic performance again. The weekend looks like we're starting to go through the gears, mate. We was talking about the other week we ain't come out in second gear, but I think we're starting to slip into third, maybe going into fourth. And let's hope, like, as the next games come on and we get to the business end of the season, which I suppose we're in a little bit now. I don't know if you'd call this the business end or not, but hopefully we can go into fifth gear. But what I'm liking, and we're hitting, our players are starting to hit form. I mean, we'll get into it, but our players are starting to hit form at just the right time.
Yeah, I agree. So, in previous seasons, we've seen that Arsenal have had very good starts to the season, but when it gets to the tail end of the season, they start to drop off, fatigue gets in, all sorts of things. But it seems to be the opposite this time. Do you think they can play to their advantage?
Oh, definitely, mate. Definitely. I mean, it's there's always the in joke, isn't there? With Arsenal, once it gets to February, the wheels come off, and then they end up fighting for Champions League places and stuff like that. But no, mate, you're absolutely right. I think, I think this, this is great. We've had our little bit of time early on, similar to Man City last year. People were going, oh, Man City they don't look right. And then when it got to this time in the season, they just went bosh, and just smashed it. And look, I'm not comparing this with Man City, but it seems like a little bit like that, where we've played the season with. We've got new systems that players are trying to get used to, and it just looks like fingers crossed that it's finally coming similar to City last season, and that everything's coming together. Ever since we've came back from Dubai, we smashed Palace, we smashed Nottingham Forest. To be fair, just the last 5-10 minutes was a little bit iffy towards the end, but you're going to get that. And then we absolutely destroyed Liverpool and literally hammered the hammers. So yeah, it's looking good, mate. I mean, the informed team of the Premiership at the minute. I think without a doubt. I mean, I watched the Liverpool and Man City the weekend, and I was like, geez, do you know what I mean? This ain't, Arsenal are the best side in the Premier League at this stage. If you want to just take it over the last 5-6 games, without any shadow of doubt. I mean, watching Man City against Everton, oh my God, it's like watching paint dry. I think it was, it was, but they get the job done. And that's all that matters. They're a machine. But yeah, exciting stuff, mate. It's exciting times.
Do you think that we'll get onto the West Ham game in a sec, but do you think that the fact that Arsenal are now sitting on the shoulder of Liverpool and Man City rather than in front, that the pressure might just be a little bit off compared to last season?
Yeah, definitely, mate. I mean, as a fan, I feel more at ease. I know it sounds a little bit mad, but I feel more at ease, sitting behind Liverpool and just sort of like saying hello. Do you know what I mean? Where we're here. Do you know what I mean? Don't forget about Arsenal, and I think recent performances. I think Liverpool and Man City would be looking at Arsenal thinking, "Wow," especially some team like like Liverpool, where we played them recently, battered them, and then we've hit them for West Ham for 6. It's strange. Just only a few weeks ago, we was like, I think I can remember saying on the Super 6, I was saying that, look, let's see what happens. I got a lot of stick, and I was saying, you looks like your favourites now, and I'm a little bit worried. I said, let's just see what happens in a few weeks' time. I don't want you to heat your words, and look, you wear, I can't wait for the next episode of the Super 6, mate, because there's. I'm going to be saying my piece, but I feel more relaxed, and I think the players feel more relaxed, and we're literally saying, look, you're above us. We're coming, we're in form, we're winning matches, we're in form at the right time.
Yeah,
you two have got to match us at the moment. You've got to just keep up your form, because if you drop off, then we'll be there. So they've got to make sure they keep winning. So look, the pressure's on them at the minute. Everyone's talking about Liverpool and Man City are favourites to win the title. Even now, they're still saying, Man City and Liverpool win the title. Well, let's hope they win the title, and not like take those words, but let's not hope they win the title. But for their fans, they should hope that they do win the title, because if they don't, according to media and radio stations, whatever else. Maybe we'll be the ones at the end of the season saying you bottled it.
Yeah, I was going to say.
We don't want that, do we?
I was going to say, Steve. I was going to say that
we don't want that.
The narrative last season was that Arsenal bottled the league. Now, no matter how long Arsenal were at the top of the league, they were however many points ahead, and essentially the league was in their hands, even though they hadn't played Manchester City twice in that season.
Yeah,
but they dropped off against some lesser teams that they should have got points off. Is it not the case that the league was in Liverpool's hands the game before they played Arsenal, and losing to Arsenal has now played a little bit more into Man City's hands? Maybe the comments that Jamie Carragher said the other day make more sense. I mean, it didn't make sense to me, but the way he said Arsenal actually beating Liverpool actually benefits Man City more than it does Arsenal.
Yeah. I mean, we're not worried about what Man City do. We just want to keep on going and win our football matches. So if Man City feel that, that it's played into their hands a little bit because Liverpool got beat, then good on City. Let's hope that you can take advantage of Liverpool slipping up and you can go and win the title, like I said. And we don't want you bottling it, do we? And Liverpool giving you chances, you not taking, advantages of those chances. But look, I mean, if you're a Man City fan, I suppose you're gonna look at it, and if anybody, I mean, you'd want a draw. Probably, I think you'd rather a draw rather than an Arsenal win. Personally, if I was probably a City fan, because then you got both teams dropping points. But that comment from Jamie Carragher sort of. He's come out with some shit over the last few weeks. The bloke's unreal. But I think what he's done again, he's just dismissed Arsenal, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he has, isn't he?
But by saying that, it's played into City's hand. It's not like, Arsenal beat Liverpool now, and now Arsenal back in the title race, and I never knew that they could do this to Liverpool, my beloved Liverpool. He's just dismissed that totally. And as I said, all that we got after the game against Liverpool was, he made a mistake. We've had no credit from him, but I think he's dismissed Arsenal from it. To be fair, more than anything, and I think he's he's been in the game a long time. I mean, we've said he talks some nonsense, but he's been in the game a long time. He knows. I mean, as I say, I'm excited now.
Yeah.
The fact that we've hit form just at the right time, and our players look like they've all the way we was last season. at the beginning is the way we look now. So, yeah, if we can go on to the last 14 games, whatever it is, the season, playing like this, then we've got one hell of a chance, mate. And I don't know about you, but what you think. But, I think we look a bit aside now over recent days.
Than at the start of the season?
Than last season. I feel more...
Is that because we've conceded less goals? Is because we conceded less chances?
I feel more confident. I feel like maybe we've grown. The players are a year older, and you get the feeling that they've learnt from last year's sort of demise. At the end of the season, I just got this. They seem confident, mate. They seem confident. I think obviously the signing of Declan Rice has been immense. It's been unbelievable. I'm sure we owe West Ham some money, for him. Looks like we got him at a bargain for the way he's been this season. But yeah, there's something different about this side right now over the last 4 or 5 games. I just think they look more like men than they was. There was a little bit free flowing and a little bit more gung ho at the beginning of the last season, which worked for us.
Yeah.
But then it's held off. At the moment, it looks like we've been here, we've done it, we've been in this situation.
Yeah.
We've got players like Jesus to come back. We've got like Timber to come back. There's something in the air. There's players like, I mean, again, we'll go on and talk about players a bit later, but there's certain players who have just seemed to have grown for me since last season as well. One in particular, who I'll mention a bit later. But yeah, I don't know what you think. Do you think we look a bit different from last season, beginning of last season?
There is differences. I thought the Liverpool game was some of the best football I've seen us play under Mikel Arteta.
Yeah.
I thought we were just untouchable. For all that people want to talk about the goals, the dodgy goals, they're adding more spice to the other ones. But the main dodgy one, if Martinelli doesn't chase that lost ball down, put the pressure on the defender, give him a nudge, that doesn't go in. It's a clean. It's an easy take from the keeper. It's just going to roll into his area, or it's a clearance from Van Dijk. Like not enough people giving credit to the lost cause that Martinelli chased down and ended up winning and got a goal for it. That's an important one. Last game against West Ham, I thought we was brilliant. Yes, the first 15 minutes looked like it's going to be one of them games, but the minute we scored that goal, that was it. And again, people like to give not to give credit. They like to talk about how bad the other team was, but we can't keep playing these teams and people saying how bad they were. You can't turn around and after Liverpool have gone on some outstanding run, they're talking like this team's really going to be the team, Liverpool, that's going to test Manchester City. And then when we come up against Arsenal, oh, no, Liverpool weren't at it today.
Yeah.
Arsenal. It's Arsenal's tactics. It's the way we're playing. Stop dismissing what Arsenal have done and immediately go to, they were rubbish today. We made them rubbish. We made West Ham rubbish. They couldn't get, they had no space to turn. They couldn't get anything. We was on them. And the same with Liverpool. We pressed them high and then we sat off when we needed to. We were smart. We are tactically better than last season, and I agree with that. Definitely tactically better. Defensively, we're better than last season. So I agree. There's definite improvement that's been made. I think since the return from Dubai, it's been the first time this season where I've seen us in free flow like we were last season. Because I do think that people are seeing last season through rose-tinted glasses. I do think there were, like at the start of the season, there were parts of our game where we looked really good, but we still weren't finishing our chances. We were still winning games 2-1, 2-0, 1-0. It weren't like we were smashing teams 6 and 7s. Yes, there were games in and around that, but the majority of it was professional performances. Get your wins, see it out. That's what we were doing last season. We were getting the win, getting the goals, the lead, and then seeing out a win. That was the difference that we were seeing with Arsenal last season. We were able to see out defensively. We're doing that from the start now. We're very hard to beat. I agree.
I think we've been pretty hard to beat. You mentioned the defence and you mentioned the midfield. I mean, all season our defence and midfield have been pretty good, haven't they?
Yeah.
We've spoken about Sleever and Gabriel, and we've spoken about Rice, and but this Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli just haven't been on it. Do you know what I mean? We've always said that. I could see that defence and midfield was strong. It seemed like something was happening there. We was trying to work things out from the back, which was work in progress. But it just seemed that up front, when it got to the final third, they just weren't. There was something missing. There was something not right about the front players.
Yeah.
Whether it was getting used to a new system or whether they was. I got a funny feeling that they couldn't have been all off form.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time. I used to say I can't believe that all three of them were off forward, or four of them were off forward at the same time. None of them looked right. I'm starting to believe now it was something to do with the system.
Mm-hmm.
Mikel Arteta's got an unbelievable tactical brain.
Yeah.
I pride myself on thinking that I know a game and watching players and where they move to and where they go.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the things that he's done, and then people from have got better football brains than me have explained. I'm like, I missed that, and then I'm like, wow. This. I mean, and he don't get no credit either, but he needs his props.
Yeah,
he needs to be given these props, Mikel Arteta, because, as I say, I missed a few things as well, and I think it's all coming together, and it's all coming together, and it's coming together at the right time, and long may it continue, mate.
Yeah, good to hear from you. Russ says we would have beaten any team in the world playing like that. Yeah, against Liverpool, I don't think there was a team on the planet that could have beaten us if we played the way we did against Liverpool. Which again, the timing is perfect. We've got Porto, a team that have got Champions League pedigree, European pedigree. We can't afford to drop off against them. So we need to be hitting the ground running. We need to keep some momentum. It'd be good if we can go to Porto and get a result against them, which will help our momentum in the league, take a little bit off the pressure of making sure we're focused just on the league. Because I think that having other things to focus on as well will take the pressure off as well. I think it's all culminating into hopefully what will be a perfect storm towards the end of the season. I do think that people have dismissed us. I honestly think Liverpool may drop off. I'm not saying they're going to completely drop off, but I do think it will be out of us and Manchester City. Liverpool will be there and thereabouts, but I think that a lot has been made of the Jurgen Klopp leaving and galvanising together, and I think we saw against Arsenal that it doesn't really make any difference. Look, you can be galvanised all you want, but if the other team's better than you on the day, you're going to drop points. You're going to lose. What was your thoughts the other day when the team was announced and Trossard was starting in midfield after what was a man of the match performance from Jorginho? Yeah,
I mean, I went a little bit back and forth. First time I seen the team sheet, I was like, why Jorginho's not playing, but after a while, I started to think, and I thought Trossard's on form, and he's been playing very well of late.
Mm-hmm.
Then my mind switched back again. Was that the fact that he was playing in that number 8 position again, and I was like, a few times he's played there, it hasn't really worked.
Yeah.
So I was going like back and forth. But I was hoping we was going to see the Trossard of the last few weeks, and we did, didn't we? I mean, absolutely unreal, So maybe that was another thing that Mikel Arteta knew that he could play there and kept sticking with it and sticking with it and sticking with it. And in the end, it's something that's come up trumps, and maybe that is a position that we can see him in the future. Who knows? Who knows? Because he's incredibly technically gifted, and he was outstanding against West Ham. Absolutely outstanding. He's been outstanding for the last three games. He's been fantastic. I mean, Trossard on his day on form, and again, we've already mentioned it. He's another player who just seems to be hitting form at just the right time. Just when we need him. Incredible finish, for the goal, but it wasn't just about that. He's interchanging with Kai Havertz throughout the game was just just unbelievable to watch. It was poetry in motion, if you like. Do you know what I mean? To see them just sort of like the cogs working, and again, people don't see that. There's a lot of people who don't see that, and they won't notice that, and and some people didn't. Didn't say, "Well, good goal," but what did he do? Havertz. They've been pissed. We've had the Havertz things again, haven't we? People taking the piss out of him because he never scored or he never assisted. They don't realise what he did. It's like did we beat them 6-0 with 10 men? Did we?
Yeah.
It's sad, and I ain't gonna waste breath on them anymore. So yeah,
but there were some other better performances than Havertz. I mean, Havertz didn't get the props from some fans that he deserves, but Martin Odegaard on the end of the day, no goal, no assist, but what a performance that was! I could have watched him play like that all day. Yeah,
I mean there's, he's. I mean, what is he? 24 years old. I mean, what's he going to be like in 4 years' time? I mean, I'm just so glad we've tried it. I mean, he's just beautiful to watch, mate. What can I say? Work rate, he's passing, his ball retention, the way he's just his brain. He's clever. He's just incredible, mate. And I mean, for me, probably the most technically gifted, player that we've got. I mean, and that's saying something because we've got some really gifted technical players at Arsenal. But mate, I mean, I don't know what sort of words you can say about him. He's a couple of years time. We talk about, he never gets mentioned into that. I mean, he's not world class, but we talk about Saka world class, maybe there, and Rice is probably already there. To be fair with him, but we never Odegaard's name hardly ever mentioned, but I think it should now. I think it should, because he's an incredible footballer.
Well, people were labelling him as a ghost, Casper they called him. They said that he doesn't turn up in big games. Well, against Liverpool, he was probably one of the man of the match, and against West Ham, he was in the conversation of man of the match. Where do you think they're getting this ghosting from?
I think they're expecting goals and they're expecting assists, and if they're, because of what we had from Martin Odegaard last season, they're expecting him to go and do 15 assists and 15 goals, this season. I mean, according to like people, who are knocking Arsenal and knocking Havertz and Odegaards and and Martinelli or whoever, we go out there with 7 men every week, so. But I think it's that, mate. I think it's some people just, if they're not scoring or if they're not assisting, they assume they're not contributing. I can't think of any other, possible reason why. But I mean, the knowledgeable Arsenal fans, they know what he's about. He's you can't have a 10 out of 10 game every single week. And I think Odegaard's one of these players that when he doesn't, people will pick thingies in him, pick holes in his game, what he should be doing better. Yeah, and forget and what people forget sometimes, and me as well sometimes as well, is that he's our captain.
Yeah,
he wears the armband and he has that on his back.
Yeah,
Arsenal football shirts are a bloody heavy shirt to wear.
Yeah,
a very heavy shirt to wear.
Yeah,
and if you've got that captain armband on that shirt and you perform like that. I mean, he gets every he deserves every bit of credit from me. The guy is absolutely unbelievable. Next to De Bruyne, I don't think there's a better sort of playmaker, touch, stroke, number 10, whatever, in the Premier League.
What about there'll be people that, and there still are people that will look at the likes of a Declan Rice, a Gabriel, and they would label them more captain's material than a Martin Odegaard. Did his resilience in these times, criticism from when he gets when he's been dropped in form, and things like we saw last week with Stuart McFarlane, does that show why Mikel Arteta potentially picked him as captain, and a different type of captain, more intelligence on the pitch, maybe a manager's mouthpiece as well?
Yeah, I think it's that. I think it's a good way of putting it. I think it's his intelligence. It's his, he may get on very well with a manager more than any others as well. And he can put across what he wants on the pitch to the players, maybe more than any other Arsenal player can. And then all the other Arsenal players can get on with them games. But I mean, you're right. I mean, I think when Arsenal play, when you've got like a title chasing stroke, getting some team that can, get into the back end of the Champions League, you need a team with probably more than one captain, and I think Arsenal have got that. I think Odegaard wears the armband, and he wears it very, very well, because he doesn't let it, sort of hamper his performance. Not like a certain, number 8 from Manchester who sometimes gets compared with him because he gets assists and goals. Personally, I don't think he could lace his boots. But do you know what I'm talking about? That he's a much better captain. And then people like Rice and Magalhaes, they can be the captain. It seems that Rice is the midfield, the captain, sort of. Maybe on the pitch or overall. Then you got maybe Rice is the type of captain who sort of maybe tells the people around his area what to do and where to go. He's always pointing. And the same with Gabriel in the defence. He's the one that sort of marshals the defence. So we've got plenty of players, and if any 3 of them probably wore the armband, you wouldn't bud an eyelid. But I think he wears it, and I think anybody who says that he should lose it and be given to Rice, I think that's totally wrong. I think that'd be bang out of order, and Arteta wouldn't do it anyway. So those that are saying it, of which they are, I'd just keep shut up if I were them, and let them get on with it.
Another player who played well on the weekend, managed to clock in 2 goals as well, and brave of him to take the penalty against the team who he last season in the same situation, he missed the penalty. Hitting a bit of form now as Bukayo Saka. Good to see right times for him to be picking up form as well.
Oh, definitely, mate. Yeah. I mean, I've been critical of him the last few weeks because I know what he is capable of, and he hasn't been that. But again, without being guilty, keep repeating myself, mate. He's hitting form at just the right time again, and we're starting to see the Bukayo Saka we know, we know and love, and he's producing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he produced against Liverpool. He was excellent in that game. He was, could have been man of the match possibly in that game as well. Penalty, lovely penalty, good finish for the second, but was a total menace and threat, just throughout the game.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked confident, mate.
I was going to say, he seems to have a different dynamic at the moment. It seems like, as I said before, he's relentlessly going at defenders, whereas previously it was looking like he would cut in and look for the pass.
Yeah, he looked nervous. Yeah,
it did. I don't understand why, but something's clicked again, and he seems to have that confidence to try and take on players again.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he seems to have more space as well. He seems that against Liverpool, I mean, Liverpool, what side they are, he seemed to be popping up in areas of space. I noticed that he seemed to be coming inside a lot, or he was picking the ball up, maybe a little bit deeper than what he would, and then running at them from deep, which we know he can do.
Yeah.
A lot of the times during the beginning of the season, when we were I was calling him out a little bit, he tends to be been stuck out on the wing more, and every time the ball was played to him, he was, straight away there was two players on him instantly, and he lost it, or he tried to go round them, and then he panicked, and the cross was off, and or the defender put him off, and which led him to his shot or his cross to be not of his normal standard, but he's ticked. He's back, and two fantastic goals. He probably could have had a couple more, to be fair to him. But we could have beat him 8-0. But maybe he should practice his heading a bit more. Do some heading, Bukayo.
Oh, mate, don't. I don't think any of us had. I don't think any of us had. Like, what is going on? I know they're trying to eradicate heading out of football because of the brain damage issues, but come on, you got he's got it twice in about space of 2 weeks. He's had two absolutely glorious chances in front of goal where he should have put it away. I mean, that you say about the head injuries, I mean, that would have, like, I think Melvin said the other week, you could have blown it in. It would have gone in. I know.
You wouldn't have but I forgive him because he's not someone that I expect to get many headers through his Arsenal career.
Yeah. Right.
But look, I mean, what is it? What is it? Is it 50 goals for Arsenal
50
now?
goals, 49 assists, is it?
Yeah. I mean, there was 22 years of age. I mean, unbelievable. 22 years of age, and it's fantastic. Martinelli never probably had one of his best games, funny enough, but he worked incredibly hard.
Yeah.
But I think, like, when I say one of his best of games, that's probably a little bit unfair. He probably just, there was other players that was just sort of a little bit better than him, and you're going to get that in matches. I mean, recently, probably we could say that Martinelli's looked better than Saka most of the time. So it goes from one to the other, but as long as he put in a shift, do you know what I mean? A lot of people were calling him out. He didn't do much. What did he do? And again, it's this, like, again, I know what it is. He never scored. He never really assisted. So he must have played bad.
Yeah, it's lazy.
And you get that. And look, I call them out again. It's mostly from Arsenal fan TV talking shit. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? And they go and they call someone out for it. It was a great look, mate. It was a great performance. We've mentioned a lot of players there with from Rice to Saka. Havertz putting his shift. He did well, as I say. Him and Trossard, the interchanging. For me, I think that's something to do. I think that working the way it's working is probably could be one of the reasons why Saka and Martinelli over the last few weeks are starting to tick, because they're finding more space, and it's very difficult, right? I've never been a defender, but I've heard Someone talked this week. He said it's very difficult when you're a defender and you're not got no one to mark.
Yeah, because they're somewhere.
So
they're somewhere. Like what people haven't noticed about Havertz the other day was he took up a lot of positions on the left, which meant Martinelli was then central, or Martinelli would drop in a little bit, maybe not central, but just off the left. Do you know what I mean? He'd tuck in. So they're looking at Havertz and probably thinking, you're up front. Where's Martinelli? Martinelli's there. Where's like it's tough.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Yeah, he's out on the wing.
Aren't giving him credit for his off the ball play.
No, it's like because then that when Havertz drops, then it's the defender's like, oh, Havertz dropped. I ain't got to mark him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then like what's Saka's coming in, or Martinelli's coming in, or Trossard's, you know, moving in. Like sometimes you see Trossard in the centre forward position, Havertz dropping out wide, Saka moving in, Martinelli moving in. And this is happening all through the game. The interchange is going on and on. And this is all because of what Trossard and Havertz are doing. Yeah. It's because of that. It's because of that, of what they're doing. And we keep hearing this 65 million Havertz. Oh, was 65 million. What does he do? Is that all you want him to do for 65 million? Is that it? Right? Well, Pep Guardiola paid 100 million for Jack Grealish, and he did the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they went on and won the treble. Exactly the same thing. But you got your Jack Grealish haters, kids. You got what does he do? He's not scoring goals. He's not.
He always goes sideways.
He goes sideways. He's don't doing assists. No, he keeps the ball. He's keeping ball retention. Yeah. He never loses it. He passes it off to the right people. He moves inside and brings defenders with him. And when defenders go with him, that leaves space for Haaland and Gundogan and Bernardo Silva and Phil Foden, whoever. You know, they don't get it. And people say, well, we paid 100 million for him. Well, if they're going to win the treble, then so who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares if you win the treble?
Yeah.
And he's got 5 goals and 6 assists. Absolutely ridiculous. These people, it frustrates me because you keep hearing the same old thing again. And all you want to ever do is sit them down and say, look, listen, let me explain. But it's no use because it just goes in there and out there, and it's just don't go in, mate. But this is what Jack Grealish is a perfect example of what Pep did, and I think this is what, in the long run, whether it's this season or next season, because we've got to give Havertz a season as well, you know. And Jack Grealish done nothing the first season, but in the second season, you know, I think that's what he's bought. I think he's looking at him to do that job. You know, be the 8, be the 10, be the one who drops into the holes, be that one. I'm not worried about you. Don't care less if you score goals. Don't care if you assist. If we're beating Liverpool 3-1 and you're in the team, and we're smashing West Ham 6-0 away, right? Then he's doing his job.
Well, exactly that. He's doing his job, but a lot of those people aren't taking into account, like I said before, the things he's doing off the ball. The Arteta signings, don't always hit the ground running in the first season, or if they do, it's like a bit sporadic. It's a few good games here. It's been a few good games there, but you've got to look at his track record of players. In that second season, they fly. Third season, they're flying. Odegaard in his first season at Arsenal when he was on loan, it underwhelmed a lot of people.
Yeah. Why are they bringing him back? Why are they bringing him back?
I'd rather have Emi Buendia. I'd rather have so-and-so. I'd rather have James Madison.
What? That was the one, wasn't it? That was the one, wasn't it? Oh, Madison, Odegaard. Yeah.
Non-stop. Yeah. Like everyone always knows better. So you'd think that they'd keep it quiet. They'd give him a season, but it's that. It's what I feel is too many Arsenal fans out there want to distance themselves from what they think is the wrong decision. So rather than go, look, Mikel Arteta's made his mind up. It is what it is. I've got to back him. Didn't agree with it, but I back him. Yeah. Rather than that, it's he's not my player. He's not like this. He's not that. I don't want him here. Get him out. Shouldn't have bought him. To distance himself. Yet when Havertz turns it on, Straight there. No. Do you know what?
They don't say nothing.
No.
Leave it.
Do you know what? Great performance today. Completely ignoring the fact that he's been dismissing this poor geezer for the last how many weeks. He ain't doing bad at all. He's in the team and he's making a difference. He might not be doing what you want him to do, but 100%. You ain't our manager.
100%.
We went with all the things that you picked. I guarantee you've been wrong more times than you've been right.
Yeah.
And that is why you are not even in any sort of level of football, let alone a professional level. And it's not a case of, we can all see it. No, we can't. How many times have we said this season, not too sure about that, and we've been proved wrong? You don't even do it anymore because you just there's no point in when you see a lineup or when you see a decision with Mikel Arteta at the moment going, no, this is a joke. What's going on? Because you've got to give it time because the majority of times he's proved you wrong.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it, Kears. That's a great way of putting it. When you said those words, because he ain't doing him what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you're not seeing him get the goals and get assists.
Yeah,
and you keep bringing up the 65 billion pounds, and because you're not seeing it and you're not happy with it, you decide to But all it is a lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
It's a lack of football knowledge because you can't see what else he does, and because of that, you just go, did he score? Did he assist? No. Well, I'll go and slag him off. He plays for Chelsea for 3 years. He didn't do nothing there. But Chelsea, I keep on saying, Chelsea ruin every player that goes there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, absolutely ridiculous. Salah went there, ruined him. De Bruyne nearly ruined him. Sterling went there, was great at Liverpool, ruined him. Cucurella was brilliant at Brighton, ruined him. Casado, Fernandes, great player. Look up to Chelsea, crap. Madrid, the big thing of Europe, goes to Chelsea, crap. Probably a good. I mean, how many just go on and on and on and on? When are people going to absolutely get it in the end?
Yeah, they are. Chelsea is a poison chalice with these players. Chelsea need to buy players that are ready-made. Name me the last player that's got to the Chelsea first team and progressed as a player. You'd probably say someone like Eden Hazard. I'm trying to think.
That was Poch switching me off.
I was just saying, name a Chelsea player that's got to the first team and progressed as a player in that first team. When was the last Chelsea player that's done that? I can't think. They buy ready-made players, and the last one I'd say has progressed to a level is I'd probably say Hazard. I can't think of anyone else. Everyone else seems to be what they've bought, they've got.
Yeah,
and they play well, but what they've bought, they've got. I'm not seeing any progression, and I'm definitely not seeing any progression with the players that they've bought so far.
Yeah, Cole Palmer, maybe he's probably the only one who's been off.
But Cole Palmer was good when he got there.
But
it remains to be seen if he got any better. Oh, by the way, this is Bukayo Saka's stats at Arsenal: 210 games, 51 goals, 53 assists. That's absolutely a joke. That is crazy. And in a season where Saka probably hasn't been as sharp as last season, he's 4 goals off of his Premier League total last season, and he's 3 assists off his Premier League assist total last season.
Yeah. I think goal contribution, one every other game.
Goal contribution is mental. It's crazy.
One every other game. I'll tell you what as well. I mean, I don't know if you're gonna, there's one other player. I just I must admit I was, bigged up, a couple of years ago, and I must admit I started to get a little bit worried about him. I think Mikel Arteta started to worry about him, but oh my God, recently, wow. Just wow. Gabriel Magalhaes.
Oh.
Big up. Yeah. Big up.
And another
Gabriel Magalhaes. I mean, what a defender.
Yeah.
What an individual.
Yeah.
Captain.
Yeah, he's
material.
captain material, 100%.
Real, mate. An absolute beast of a defender.
Mm-hmm.
Just, and I'm telling you what, I genuinely believe. I mean, look, Saliba gets all the plaudits. Yeah, he gets the plaudits all the time. But for me, Gabrielus has been the best centre back, best defender, Arsenal defender this season. Yeah, without any shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, I think his performances have been undervalued.
Yeah,
because it's easy to say that Saliba's been great, which he has. This is not taking anything away from Saliba. It's easy to say Saliba's been great because of how good he looks on the ball, how he glides across the pitch, how he's got a lovely little turn and will drop a shoulder to take it past the player. Yeah, I've seen Gabriel throw his head where people won't throw their boots.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is anyone seeing this guy? He doesn't care. He will throw his body on the line. And he's another one that cheers when he's made a tackle, that cheers like he scored a goal when he stopped the opposition from scoring a goal. That is the kind of defence that you want.
Yeah. I'm so pleased for him. Because I said when he first came to the club, this would be the next Virgil van Dijk. And I'm staying with that. I'm sticking with that. The age he is, I'm unbelievable. Virgil, great defender. Absolutely no shadows about. Absolute great defender. But yeah, look, Arsenal defensively, best centre back pair in the league, without even a fault. And I think people wouldn't probably say they are because they put Gabriel down here. They don't put him up as far as what he should. And he's been better than Saliba this season. People don't realise that.
I did a video not long ago, which was basically asking is he the most underrated defender in the Premier League? Because
definitely.
I saw people giving Gabriel props, and I went to the comment section and it was, nah, he's a liability. Everyone knows that Saliba's been carrying him, this and that, bringing Diamondi. And I'm like, what?
No.
What are people watching? I do think that people saw some of the mistakes that Gabriel made when he first joined Arsenal, or the mistakes he's had over the years, and they labelled him with that. But I don't think that's fair, because to say that a 22-year-old defender's not going to make mistakes is ludicrous. We see Saliba make mistakes, but they just go unnoticed because he's Saliba. He's the
not allowed to mention it, are you?
Yeah. And I would mind if these mistakes were consistently happening all again and again. It's the same mistakes, but it's not. It's like he's eradicated. He made that mistake 2 years ago. You don't see it again. He was a bit off in pre-season this season, but by the end of it, he was back on form, and he's not made that mistake again. So again, I do question people's timing of when they're claiming that people like Gabriel are making mistakes, because if you're talking about in pre-season, that's the time when you want your players to make a mistake. In early games of pre-season, get it out of the way. Get that out of the way. You're knocking the rust off. It's about getting the fitness levels up.
Yeah.
But
I'll tell you what.
The campaign, that's when you want them to be a bit more slick. Gone.
No, I'll tell you what as well. Like he's becoming a better footballer as well.
Yeah.
I think there was also questions about he's playing out from the back. He's short passing. He always had a long ball. He always used to be good at that. Mm-hmm. But I think like he maybe at times last season and maybe at the beginning of this a little bit, he panicked when he had the ball playing out from the back. But now I'm just so confident, when he gets the ball at the back, with all of them actually, with Ben White, with Saliba, with Gabriel, and who's even like Kiwa, or let's give him these props as well for the weekend, because I thought he was okay. He had a couple of area moments at the beginning, but overall he was okay. But I think Gabriel Magalhaes is becoming a better footballer. Mm-hmm. Whether that's because we're playing out the back more and he's learning to that part of his game. But Yeah, I mean, there was a time at the beginning of the season that I always used to feel very nervous of Arsenal playing it around between the four or five of them at the back.
Yeah.
This year, do you know what I'm noticing? This year, not so much this year, but recently, over the last 7, 8 games, and even Liverpool, especially Liverpool, actually, right? They were scared to come at us. They were frightened to come to sort of press too far towards us.
Yeah.
Because we just go bing, bing, boom, boom, bing, 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 and
Yeah.
play around them. Or Raya, who, again, let's give him his props. You know, he's distributing some. It's unreal, mate.
Yeah.
You might as well have it's like having a Martin Odegaard in goal. You know, the way he plays the ball, he gets the ball, he's quick thinking, passes it, or he's throwing, but the way he plays the balls to the front players, and then they move it around, and then bang, 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 and they're out, and they're on, and Rice's, and then they're off.
Yeah.
And we're off to attack. And last week, when we, especially Liverpool, it was like they was like scared to come too far, because if they came too far, then some of them were. Yeah.
That's why I didn't understand. Like, I got to a certain extent what Gary Neville was talking about, where he said if Liverpool could be a little bit braver, they could be able to do something against Arsenal. Well, Arsenal wouldn't allow them. Arsenal wouldn't allow them to be brave, because they knew the moment they allowed a gap, bang.
Yeah,
we were like rabid wolves. There was no let off, and they knew, because every time they did allow a gap, Arsenal won them. So they couldn't do it. They couldn't be brave. They weren't allowed to be brave, because Arsenal stopped them, and that's what I'm talking about. It's always the other team. Everyone wants to talk about the other team. Liverpool needs to be braver. They can't be. Arsenal are nullifying them. They've tried to get into space. They've tried to make a gap and create something, but every time they do, Declan Rice is there taking the ball off them. And look, Saka's in space. Martinelli's in space. So they can't do it. They can't do it. So, give Arsenal credit where it's due.
100%, mate. And they're a big side lately as well. When they come out of that tunnel, it gives you that air of like, look across the tunnel and wolf. Do you know what I mean? You see even Havertz, 6'3". You see like Gabriel and Saliba, and they look. Arsenal becoming a big side. Sort of imposing side to look at.
Yeah.
So it's great, mate.
I agree. Little something I saw online just not long ago from our friend G Talks Arsenal. Alan Shearer stated that Declan Rice should have celebrated the scream where he scored against his former club West Ham at the weekend. What was your thoughts on that one, Steve? It's an absolute worldie. I didn't expect him to celebrate. No. I think with some of the reaction that he's got from West Ham fans last 2 times he's visited, I think people were saying that they didn't care about you then. But what's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, great goal. We haven't mentioned the goal. Obviously, a great goal, great move as well, leading to the goal. But I'm glad he did what he did. I thought he was class.
Oh, class, yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was just so utter class. Yeah, look, West Ham fans were booing him. I mean, I was sitting here with you. You can imagine, with quite a few West Ham fans.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's go, your fans. But that was just in the heat of the moment of a football match. Yeah. So, but yeah, look, I mean, I've spoken to a lot of West Ham fans, and that's just banter. That's just a bit of banter. They love Declan Rice. They understand what he did for them. He won them a European trophy, and and I think like the majority of the people in the stadium, still love Declan Rice. I mean, when he went over to take a corner, he that he did get a good reception from the West Ham fans in that corner. So yeah, I'm pretty sure the majority, still think highly of Declan Rice, and are grateful for what he's done. So for me, he did the right thing. He showed class. I think if he probably would have done anything different, I probably would have been a little bit disappointed in him if he did. You know, I'm glad he did that. You know, he's at the end of the day, they have also given him a lot as well as he's given them a lot. So yeah, the right thing to do.
Yeah, it was an absolute screamer from Declan Rice. He done well to show some restraint, if I'm honest. Because I tell you what, if I would have scored that goal first time, smashed it in the top bins, I don't know, I would have definitely struggled to contain my composure. A lot of Arsenal fans over the last month or so have been screaming out for some of the youngsters to get some game time. We saw Ethan Nwaneri come on for Arsenal against West Ham. Surprising, good to see him get a run out.
Yeah. Not, I suppose. Well, pleased he got a run out. You know, at first I was glad to see that he came on. Surprised. I think when you're 6-0 up, I think you know the surprise goes a little bit. You know, you probably thought, well, yeah, I can get it. So not really surprised that he came on, especially as I said, you know, with the score as it was, and yeah, he looks a player, doesn't he? You know, I haven't seen much of him, to be honest with you. I've heard obviously plenty about him. And you know that he could be the next anything. You know that he's an incredible footballer, and when he came in, he looked smooth, didn't he? He looked silky. He was good on the ball. Looked confident. And yeah, I hope we see. Hopefully, we can see a little bit more of him. You know, through the season when we beat other teams 5-0 or 4-0 up. And he can come on, and yeah, look, I mean, the biggest thing for me, that keeps coming back into my head is 16 years old. 16. Yeah. What a life he's got ahead of him.
Yeah.
You know, what a life he's got ahead of him. And yeah, pleased for him. You know, really pleased for him.
And it's good to hear that players on the bench were actually calling for Arteta to bring him on.
Yeah.
One of the more vocal ones in that was Jorginho, probably in his own joking way, whispering to Arteta to bring on Nwaneri. So it's good that they've got that sort of camaraderie around the squad. You'd think that players like Jorginho would have wanted to come on himself, and it's good to see that he's sort of angling for a youngster to get some minutes.
Yeah. I mean, it's you said there, you know, it's typical that. I mean, I didn't know who said it, but comes no surprise when you mention that name, Jorginho, that he was the one who was sitting behind his Mikel's shoulder, saying like, "Get him on." You know, yeah, love Jorginho. But yeah, it just shows, you know, the camaraderie that I think we already know. You know, is going throughout the club.
Yeah.
We see it on the documentary, you know, how close they are, and as soon as, you know, even when we get new players come in, you know, they fit in, you know, straight away. Like Timber and Declan Rice, you know, can't speak highly of the club, you know, and the way that people and fans and staff at Arsenal and have taken them in. And that can only be good for the future and other players that come to the club, you know, because it shows that, you know, especially with youngsters, that they, you know, that Arteta will give players a chance. I mean, he has got a lot of stick off some fans in the past for not playing youngsters, but you do have to be careful when you play these kids. There's only certain times that you can.
Yeah.
And this was one of them occasions, and yeah, really pleased to see him come on. And yeah, I hope to see more of him because he looks tasty, mate. He does look tasty.
He does. So on Nwaneri and Cedric gets a run out as well, and
yeah,
you know, it's a smart move we've got some big games coming up, so it's time to start resting some players, but also we want to make sure we're keeping those clean sheets. So I think the balance was right.
Yeah.
But hopefully we get to see the likes of of Miles Lewis-Skelly going forward as well, and potentially even Raoul Waters. Well, a couple more things before we go. As it stands, the injury situation is our biggest threat. That's the lightest bench we've had all season. Need 3 or 4 backups ASAP. The injury list is getting a bit long at the moment. We've got Emil Smith-Rowe, Fabio Vieira, Thomas Partey on that, Urian Timber, Jesus. The list is Zinchenko. The list goes on. A worry at this stage, even though we've started to hit a bit of form, is it a bit worrying? These injuries are starting to come up, and players who you thought were sort of getting back to fitness in Jesus and Thomas Partey have had setbacks again.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus, Partey, and Smith Rowe, I'm really worried about. You know, I love all 3 of them. You know, but you know, if I was Arsenal manager, I'd be thinking about other players. You know, because how can you keep these? They keep going down with injuries. They keep getting knocks, and that's not going to help Arsenal Football Club in the long term. Jesus is someone I thought, but I think he's had about 3 or 4 injuries this season now.
Yeah. Quite long ones as well. We had the knee injury which he had surgery for. He came back, was out for another 3 weeks. He came back 2 games in. He's out again. Missed 2 games. They're not short injuries. They're not 1 week. They're not a few days. Not a light knock. They seem to be like deep-rooted injuries.
Yeah. You need some kind of cohesion in the side, don't you? You know, especially now. And you can't keep. Mikel Arteta must think, well, when Jesus is fit, I'll bring him back in because it's Gabriel Jesus. But you think, well, if he comes back in, gets injured again, and then I've got to bring, say, Havertz back in again, and does this mess up each game? Do you want to keep a winning team each week? Especially now, the way we're playing now. He must be tempted to do that, and I'm worried about Jesus now. I mean, we started to think about replacing Eddie. Before, and we used to say, "Oh, yeah, we've got to keep Jesus," and but Eddie looks like he's got to move on. But with all these injuries that Jesus is getting, the percentage chart may be going swinging a little bit.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
To Jesus' favour, because if he's our man, one of our players we need, you can't keep having someone who's going to go down with injuries 4 times a season, especially if you're, if you're sitting mid-table or you're sitting, in European places, and then maybe you can get away with it. But if you're a Champions League, challenging side and a title-winning side, you can't, keep being. Keep these players at the club. Yeah. And the same goes with Thomas Partey. And I know what Arsenal fans will go. They'll go crazy. You can't get rid of Gabriel Jesus. You can't. He's great. He's brilliant. But I'm sure Mikel Arteta's thinking about it. I'm sure he is. You know what he's like. You mentioned last week about, the availability of players. And if they continuously ain't available, then unfortunately, they may have to be moved on.
Yeah.
I don't know what you think about that. But carrying on from that. Yeah, I mean, there's certain positions. I mean, probably centre backs the most. Probably still, even though Kior's he's okay for a couple of games. But if either Saliba or Gabriel went down with a long term, we're struggling there as well. I think.
Yeah.
We've got Tomiyasu and Ben White. Could we get away? We've never really had them. We've had Ben White maybe had to get away. It's all ifs and buts, mate. But yeah, I can see the worry. I can see in the summer a few being moved out, mate.
Yeah.
Maybe some big names as well.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a big summer, ins and outs as well. So it will remain to be seen. But we've got the rest of this season to enjoy. big things hopefully happen for Arsenal this season. Hopefully we can come away with something, or at least just compete until the end.
That's it, mate, isn't it? That's it, mate, isn't it? That's it. Only one team can win the league. One team out of Arsenal, Liverpool, and Man City. Only one can win it. And I mean, it don't mean you've had a bad season if you're one of that team who finishes first, second, or third. Is it really? It's not.
Especially
some people will say that.
City.
A lot of people saying it's because we finished second last, we don't finish first, and Arteta should get the sack. I mean,
I'd like to go and see them have a psych evaluation, if I'm honest, because if you genuinely think that this team, that you'll also, in the same breath, dismiss this manager and call him a Pep's cone boy, yet you're expecting him to win the league. So what is it? Is he Pep's cone boy and he's not good enough to be Arsenal manager, or is he expecting to win the league? You don't know your arse from your elbow, some of you. You argue against yourself. Do you know what I mean? You're contradicting yourself all the time. It's embarrassing, but it is what it is. We move. All right, that is all that we have time for. Thank you very much for everyone who's joined us in the comment section. Russ and Galvo, thank you for those comments. Thank you for joining us tonight, Steve.
Cheers, mate. Pleasure. Thank you.
Make sure you hit us up every Tuesday for the Arsenal show. I think next week is the Champions League, isn't it? So there won't be an Arsenal show, but there'll be a post-match reaction.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Is it Tuesday? Is it that game?
I think so. Let me just double check.
Check.
The next game is it's Wednesday. So you will see us next Tuesday.
Oh. So you'd have so they have the pleasure of seeing us twice.
Yes, you will. Or you could also catch us on a Monday. We're still waiting for Liverpool fans, Man United fans, and City fans to turn up.
Where are they? Where are they?
In the wise words of Delia Smith, where are you?
Let's be having ya.
Let's be having you. Right, that is all we have time for. Peace out. Stay safe and wash your hands.